Alrighty, how's everyone doing? I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. I did take a step back from a little while. I just needed to kind of chill out, from this space in general. It's very taxing, very tiring, very quick. But, there is no rest for the wicked, as they say, and this kid sure hasn't had any rest lately. You've got this kid, Ryley Gauthier, supposedly made 5.6 million by 18. He says he makes businesses more money. Of course, I see that tagline with everybody online these days. And also, funny enough, doesn't sell courses, which is ironic, extremely ironic, given what I'm going to share with you guys later. So basically, what you have is this kid. He's trying to be a somebody. You hate to see young guys kind of go down this path, but it happens. I understand it. We've all kind of been there once to some degree when you've had a little bit of success online. This kid's no different. So you go through, you'll see your stereotypical, he's going to be pitching you something kind of profile, right? Even though he says he doesn't sell courses, it's a load of shit. We all know it. So he honestly has very mid-tier views for the most part. He has the occasional video that has popped off. I know that he will sit there and argue till he's blue in the face. Oh, well, I focus on running stuff for the companies that I work with and everything like that. I don't really care about my personal stuff too much, which I would largely say is, okay, who the fuck are you kidding? Like, who are you kidding? You're out here trying to humble brag on social media like a young kid does when you have no idea what the hell you're actually talking about. So, for example, he says, like in this one video right here, how I make 400K a month at like 20 years old. And right here, I'll just play the video.
I'm 20 years old and I just made 400 grand this month. And I'm about to give you guys the sauce right now. Here's the proof on Stripe, and this is the app we built to track our stats. I've been running my business.
Mind you, how cropped is that? And you're not really seeing that for a whole lot of extended amount of time. Like, he's not diving into it. It's cookie cutter shit that we've seen from all the other gurus.
Business for around a year and a half now. And what we do is we go up to companies that are desperately in need of marketing help, and we essentially lower their customer acquisition costs through running TikTok ads and Facebook ads. And for some of them, we'll build their website. And the funny thing about winning the game is it's all just a value exchange. I have a company that I run ads for that pays me around $10,000 a month. But I don't make $10,000 a month from this client. Because what I do is I take a percentage of the revenue I make them. Because I have these sexy CPAs, I'm able to generate them a lot of money. And because I generate them so much money, this one client will generate me like $45,000 a month. I do absolutely nothing to collect from it, because they do all the hard business work. I just keep running their ads. And you'd be really surprised how many people need this. I'm 20 years.
Yep, so that's the easy pitch, right? We're helping out desperate companies that are in desperate need of marketing help. The funny thing is that since I've been in the same space for a while now, I can tell when somebody's reading off a script. And what I will say, and what I can compliment the kid on, is he knows how to write ad copy. He can write an ad that drives kind of engagement, which in a way is kind of proof of me doing this video, right? Like, he knows the type of marketing that he's doing, kind of like rage bait in a way, because he's a 21-year-old kid saying that he makes an absorbent amount of money, which is actually largely untrue. And it always, like, goalposts kind of always shift, because now it's $300,000 a month, and it's like, okay, well, you're a year or two further in the game now, but you're making $100,000 less a month. Like, what's going on? It's all just marketing. At the end of the day, he's trying to place himself above. He's trying to make a name for himself. He's just doing it in a way that he's ultimately going to regret, even when he's just a couple years older from now. So yeah, he's basically pitching marketing services here, and he's claiming that he's getting a percentage. It's very similar to lead generation, kind of like what I've talked about before on this channel, and I'm not going to go ahead and get into it in this video because I really just don't give a shit. But if you guys want to check it out, it'll be in the link below. Kind of back to the point at hand here is he's making it sound incredibly unrealistic. So you can make money with lead generation. You absolutely can. I have personally, but not to the tune of like 45, 50, $400,000 a month. That's just unrealistic and almost just a blatant lie. Now, could he have a company that he's running, maybe through a set of a bunch of virtual assistants, that drives 400K of monthly revenue? That is possible. Still pretty unrealistic, but possible. And at the end of the day, it's revenue, right? Again, largely what these e-com kids won't tell you, it's revenue. You then have to think about profit margin and everything that goes along with it, expenses. So at the end of the day, that 400 grand can dwindle down very, 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 very quickly. And again, it's something that they just don't talk about because it's not exactly, it doesn't exactly help them sell their bullshit if you guys have the full idea, right? Take lead generation the way that I've talked about on the channel before, for example. There are business owners you'll come across that are just straight jerks. They're not going to want to pay you for leads. And that's okay because there's always someone out there who will. It's just going to take you time to find that person. But the way that these guys always try to pitch it is that it's super easy and that it's just going to happen overnight, or at least they imply that it happens overnight. It never does. But let's go ahead, watch some more of this kid's videos, do a newer one. Let's see.
So, I make fuck you money at a super young age. Like, bro, I made $300,000 just last month, and I'm 21 years old. And I'm already content with the things that I have. I bought my dream house for $1.6 million. I was able to buy my dream cars, which is the C8 and the Lamborghini. And my company's now worth well over $10 million. And even after all the bullshit that I bought, I still have hundreds of thousands of dollars left over. And I'm also a first-generation millionaire, so I don't know what to do with money. And I'm not trying to say this to, like, be a dick or flex, but I genuinely don't know what to do with myself anymore. So
everything that he just said at the end, I don't mean to be a dick, but I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Again, you see this a lot. He's really going into this whole rage bait marketing, which is okay. I understand the concept. Whistling Diesel is someone who does a very, very good job at it. I do it on a much smaller level in a totally, totally different niche, the racing niche, if you guys know who I am. You can do that relatively successfully, but then there comes a point where there's like just certain lines that you don't cross, or where you kind of go too far and you look too stupid. And that's exactly what he's doing here. 300 grand a month, again, largely, most likely in revenue. If he wants to come out and do a response video, show us your books, bro. By all means, I largely believe that it's revenue. Feel free to prove me wrong. 2, he's like, oh, I got the C8. Okay, well, the C8 is kind of the classic fake guru car at this point. Once it came out in 2020, all the fake gurus were starting to get it. Reason being is because, one, it was a Chevrolet, so it's relatively cheap. It looks amazing for what it is, not taking away from the car, but it was a cheap way to look rich, right? Kind of Corvettes always have kind of been like that. The C8 was a whole different level because it was mid-engine. It kind of looked like a Ferrari and all this stuff. So yeah, he gets that, which, again, if he got that a couple years ago, because it looks like he's been around, 2022, 2023, and largely, honestly, like, I don't even know when this video was filmed. Like, here it says 9 hours ago. But when I'll show you, like, his other profiles later, it just doesn't make sense. So this is, like, reused content. It's not current. Which, if it's not current, I'll show you stuff that kind of is current to an extent, and, like, why that is largely concerning. But again, this kid, okay, he's flexing all the fake wealth, basically. Having a Lamborghini and a C8 at 21 years old doesn't make you rich, makes you stupid. Because guess what? If he was smart, if he really had fuck you money, you do what all the smart people do, which is buy a Japanese ship. And I don't care if I sound like I'm copying from The Gambler right now. I don't care. But you'll buy a cheap car, cash, and, relatively cheap. Like, you're not going to buy a crappy beater, but you're going to buy something, probably between 25 to 50K cash, and you're just going to sit on that car until the wheels fall off. Then you're going to buy a house that's, fairly modest in this economy, $400,000 to $500,000. Then you're going to stick the rest of that money into the S&P 500, and you're going to let it sit, and you're going to let it collect, and you're going to get monthly dividends, month in, month out. That's fuck you money, okay? What you have here is a kid who has ego problems and is trying to flex online to generate more money for his coaching scheme, which I know he says he doesn't sell any courses, but he has a Discord, and apparently if you try to leave it, you almost get sued, which I'll, talk about later. So if you go over to Instagram, you'll see his followers, which doesn't quite make sense. Just because it's like, okay, how do you only have, I think it was like 3,400 on TikTok, or 3,850 on TikTok. You have 38,000 on Instagram somehow. If you look at like the likes and stuff, it doesn't add up at all. Like 5 posts, 38,000 followers. Like, that's just not legit. You're not posting. You don't have enough profile activity to reach that many people. You just don't. So did he buy followers? Most likely. Is he paying for the verified check mark? Probably. Reels. So you have a couple thousand views here. These two are fairly decent. And then you have a bunch of just mid-tier reels. Like, the view counts aren't really high. They're not really justifying his actual, follower count. This one really popped off. But also, he runs ads, right? So how many of these views were actually more so derived from ads than they were from organic? That's another thing you guys have to consider when you're looking at these up-and-coming gurus is, are they running traffic to specific videos? Like, you can... Even you, as a regular person, same with me, like, I could run a sponsored thing on Instagram to drive up traffic to my specific video if I'm trying to reach a lot of people. It's like paying for an ad but not paying for an ad, if that makes sense. And that quite possibly could be what he did here to have certain videos jump higher than others in the view counts. Next, you head over to his YouTube. 37.9k subscribers, but he only has 9 videos and they don't have any crazy amount of views. So how are you getting that many followers and you have like no views, essentially? 1,000, couple hundred. It just doesn't make sense. Go over to Social Blade, okay? Again, 10,000 views on the channel total over 10 years at this point, and 38,000 subscribers, let's call it. Where's the videos to justify that? Because you could have just simply bought a whole bunch of subs and then just never did anything with it. You simply just did it to look legit, which, again, I understand it's part of the playbook that these fake guru guys teach at a high level, which I'm not sure who he's learning from, but he's probably learning from somebody, one of those upper masterminds, and he has the money to go about and implement some of these tactics. But at the end of the day, it's all fake. Like, none of it is real. So then I went ahead, I tried to check him out over here on LinkedIn, right? Do some little background on him. So he's founder of RWS LLC, whatever that is. Tried looking it up, couldn't really find anything on it. Chief Marketing Officer for Parrot Finance for a little over a year. MoneyCord was one of his companies, as you'll see in one of these lawsuits. And then social media manager. So, it looks like he has a decent resume here with this stuff, if it's true. That said, it doesn't look like he's really implementing it for himself currently, with all those followers and stuff, unless he just had really one like lucky streak and popped off and then just fell off the face of the planet. That's also possible. You have one hit wonders not only in music but on social media too, and maybe he's one of them and he's trying to make this resurgence. So that said, I looked up the kid and company and all that stuff. What you find here is a no value case, which basically means that it was basically just stupid. I've got the real definition pulled up over here for you guys. So basically, it's a legal document or claim that seemed to have no significance or impact due to being incomplete, invalid, or irrelevant. may also refer to an asset or claim that is worthless or has no economic value, which is basically like this court case here. So it looks like somebody tried to sue him, and then he was a cross complainant, so he was also trying to then like sue this person back in a way. Not really sure why, but some answers might be found in this Reddit thread. So this was 5 months ago, and some people were still talking on it. So we'll dive into this a little bit here real quick. Title is, I got scammed but didn't pay them yet and they want money. So he says, I almost completely fell for the Ryley Gauthier scam. However, I signed a document fresh but on an app and I don't know what to do. So this person said, same, I just blocked them on everything and they can't find me. I don't think it's legit or that some, quote, millionaire would sue me for $1,000. Exactly, right? Occam's razor, the real solution, the real answer is often the most simple one, which is, if somebody is a millionaire, why are they going to quibble over $1,000 from one person here for one person there? I know I sure as shit wouldn't, and I'm sure you wouldn't either, because if you're a real millionaire, right, what actual concerns about money do you have? You don't. That's the whole point of being a millionaire. If you're not a millionaire, then yeah, $1,000 is $1,000, right? So then this other person says, I got scammed the same way and did the same thing. This person says, is it like seriously a scam? I was completely convinced and most likely fooled if it was, because I showed ID and I was entered into their Discord server. I'd really like to not pay money I don't have. And the Discord that she's referencing is, if you go over to his Instagram, you'll see student success right here, which is kind of funny because he says no course, right? Yet, he's got a whole entire Discord and link in bio if you want to apply. Now, granted, that was about not even quite a year ago, but you're talking about no courses, but then you have student success, and it's like, how do you have student success if you're not selling some kind of coaching or mentorship or course? So if he's wanting to get, or if he's wanting to play with semantics of what a course actually is, then he can do that all day, but then you're still a fake guru promoting, or not promoting, but trying to sell this program or that. And then you got the classic Gucci here. So, and that looked like that was actually like in Vegas, but, it's funny to see kids like this pop up, because just as soon as he's popped up, he's gonna fall off just as quick as they all do. But getting back to this thread, so did I, and my friend and I decided to call the number back, and he acted like he was my attorney so they could no longer contact me, but I doubt you have anything to worry about because this has happened more than just us. I did background research on them, and the company is fake in my opinion. The reason is because his Instagram hasn't been active or posted upon in a while, and even though they said you can look him up, you can, but it's harder to pick them through the online search engine. And others in the comments under a few posts of a few people on there had said it was a scam. To add on, they are really people using fake names, so who knows if Ryley Gauthier is even really his real name. And they were to sue, there's no way they were to sue, there's way too many court dates they would have to attend, in which case real lawyer would destroy them, or would destroy the signing paper they had everyone sign. And if they were to try and take it to court, just keep pushing the court date back to buy time. It gets very annoying on the other end because there's more money coming out of their pockets that they probably don't have at the end of the day. So then they said what they will do is still have you try and pay the $1,000 payout on the spot, or split it up to $500 now and $500 later. I tried it with an excuse of saying this isn't the best time for me to do this right now, but possibly in the future. But because they said they opened this spot up just for me, you can already tell it's a lie from here, because look how many people have been scammed. I advise you delete your Discord account through the settings, because on the paper you sign it states you could be sued up to $5,000 if you just leave it. So I'd say just delete it, and rather you want to explain to them or not that you can't do or get involved with this, I'd advise you block them or lose contact with them on all platforms. If not, they may pressure you into feeling like you have to. So, is the money coming from running ads? Is the money coming from e-commerce? Or is the money coming from scaring people into almost a ransom that may not know any better to pay you for leaving a Discord group? Which, what is so valuable in a Discord group that you have to threaten to sue somebody when they leave? When they leave? Like, what? And you know, I'm concerned in a way of like, okay, how many people haven't found this Reddit thread? How late am I to the punch on this on my end as somebody who kind of has a responsibility to find and report on stuff like this? How many people have paid that $1,000 to leave that group when they didn't have to, and they were just scared into it because this kid thinks he's entitled to your money, right? Like, it's ridiculous. So let's keep going. Let's see. I've not ran into this problem. Actually, I had one person say it was foolish of me to do this, but I pay them $50 every 2 weeks to pay off the $1,000 fine they've given. So unfortunately, this person is paying them back. So I got scammed too. I thought about how they would lose money too, but in the contract it says that if you leave the group and have to go to court, then I have to pay all their court fees and legal fees. Like, again, they're making threats to people and their finances who don't know any better, which, again, this is the classic fake guru target audience, is they go after people who don't know any better. They go after people that are genuinely good people and have hope for something better for themselves. And they get played. They get scared into paying $1,000 here, paying $1,000 there, because they don't want to have to deal with court and getting in trouble. See, the types of people that these gurus go after are honestly people that were just like me at one point. I was hopeful to learn how to make money online. I was driven. I was hungry. I had a abundance mindset, right? But all it really leads into is a lot of these programs. Again, not all of them, but a lot of them, especially the ones that run ads, or especially the ones that do humble brag marketing and stuff like this, is they take advantage over people who just don't know any better. And that's how they make their money, because if you can scare a whole bunch of people into paying you money, well, then you have that people's money. And then if somebody smart enough comes along and tries to, stop that, you may, as, this kid in his position, might have enough money to have some kind of counter legal defense, which I wouldn't be surprised if, since nobody really talks about this kid in the first place and I got nothing better to do, this is going to probably be on the top of YouTube for his name, or right by his name, as it should. He's going to probably see this video. He's going to probably reach out to me. And then he's going to probably be like, take this down or I'll sue you. And I'll be like, sue me for what? What have I done? Expressed opinions? Showed data? Showed how things don't add up? Even funnier, right? So there's all this scam talk right here. You have the weird, like lawsuit or whatever, the frivolous case essentially. And this is like the only thing on Reddit kind of about this kid. But then this says, yes, they do. They sent to me a long text saying I need to pay $1,000 now, or I will be brought to court to have to pay $5,000. It's just a crazy, crazy scheme. That said, let's see. You go over, I had to do a double take on this one. I thought it said the Daily Scammer. Okay. That's what I thought it said. It turns out it's the Daily Scanner. But basically, you have this puff piece written about this kid. And it was clearly written by him or somebody employed by him. And this was then published on a independent blog, which at the end of the day, blogs like these are actually called, in the SEO marketing landscape, this is called a press release. And basically what a press release is it's a puff piece that really talks you up. It doesn't say anything negative. It paints you in the best light possible. You pay a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000 for the blog, and then you have it posted on that website really forever. And then you'll get a link back to your social medias or a link back to whatever platform you're trying to push up engagement on. As you can see here in this case, the bottom of the screen here, that's going to link out to his Instagram, and it does at the bottom as well. But that said, it has all the freaking language in the book that it reads like an ad, and that's kind of how it's supposed to be with posts like this, whether it's this kid or even all the way up to Tony Robbins, right? It's always puff pieces. So it's like, okay, he's gotten over 3.6 billion views online just by being smart about how he uses TikTok. Wow, how insightful. Started a clothing company called Cold, made his first $10,000 in 3 months. So basically, what? $3,333 every 30 days. That's $10K. And again, is that revenue or profit? I would go on as far as to say revenue. He then started a seven-figure e-commerce store that's still making money today. Okay, cool. What's the store called? Where's the website? Prove it. People are always curious about Ryley. Maybe because he bought his dream car when he was 18, or because of his impressive collection of watches, which who knows if those are even replicas, you know. But what stands out is his job as the CMO of a company called Parrot Finance. He also made a huge online platform where people learn about money. In less than 8 months, it became the second biggest of its kind with over 100,000 active students. Okay, less than 8 months is a bold claim. Second biggest of its kind is another bold claim with over 100,000 active students. The dude doesn't even have 100,000 followers between any of the different platforms. So how is he going to have $100,000 or 100,000 active students if he doesn't even have that many followers on social media? I get that sounds like mean coming from me and stuff like that. I get it. But at the same time, you're making baseless claims with no evidence. You're trying to hype yourself up and you have nothing to prove it. And then he's challenging the norms and revolutionizing e-commerce education. Personal mentorship program. Oh, so there is a program. There's a course that you said that you don't have, right? Kind of funny. And then, the puff piece about his parents right here. For those aged between 18 to 55 across the United States, Canada, and the UK, if financial freedom is on your wish list, Ryley's story isn't just inspiring. It proves that the world is yours to conquer with the right plan, a good mentor, and a lot of hard work. Bro, I'm not going to test this because I don't even know if I want to know the answer, but this also reads like it could have been AI, like an AI prompt to write a puff piece that he sent in. The thing is about guys like this is they are incredibly lazy with stuff. That's why you're able to point out inconsistencies so fast. If you just look at it at face value, you put all belief to the side. And it's just, I think it's so funny. This was the next funny part. So the Daily Scanner, right? This is a website. I told you, there's these different blogs and everything like that. Well, check this out, okay? So this is one of the tools I think I've showed you guys on the channel before, but basically it's how I do a lot of my website research when I build my websites that I work on trying to rank them and generate leads for businesses and all that stuff, right? So you're getting 28 traffic a month, 28 monthly visitors, right? So if someone's making millions of dollars a year, $400,000 a month, right? How come they're not in Forbes? And I know that Forbes even has fake stuff, right? But how are you not on the news? How do you not have your own successful YouTube channel where you're documenting everything? How do you not have any kind of documentation on TikTok or Instagram either? Hell, Snapchat, maybe anything? Do you have anything to document any of this? Or do you just have videos in a rented Lamborghini and a business loan out on a C8 Corvette? Like the marketing is marketing. Acting is acting. It's all scripts. At the end of the day, they write everything out. They learn how to become good on camera. It's quite simple. But yeah, looking at this website, it looks like it had a spike in traffic at one point. 51,000 visitors a month, pretty cool. But then it like fell off it fell off massively. So by the time that he bought this blog post in September 2023, it was getting about 8,000 hits a month. Not terrible for a blog, and certainly not terrible for like a website, but it's not necessarily as legit as someone would think. It's all about perception. When you look at this website, the Daily Scanner, you see the different tabs and everything like that. You think it's probably a legit website. But then you read a puff piece like this with a really generic name right here, and you're like, okay, yeah, this just kind of seems fake. Like, trust your gut with a lot of this stuff. Anyway, that's Ryley Gauthier. Clearly, it's just another, fake influencer, make money online guy. I'm sure I'm going to be hearing from him soon. So, Ryley, see you soon.